In 1984, the Phi Kappa Theta Foundation began recognizing brothers who exemplified excellence and prominence in their fields, and these brothers have provided us inspiring examples of how we, as brothers, are committed to serving society. And this evening's program provides us with not just an ordinary opportunity. Each recipient of the Man of Achievement Award on his own right has been worthy and inspiring, and I'm thrilled that many past recipients and one future recipient I count as treasured friends. But tonight we have an honoree like none other that really, if you asked the collegiate brothers here tonight or around the country who they looked up to, who are the Phi Kappa Theta brothers that are famous, they want to emulate, the two names that would come to mind, we all know, are Paul Allen and John Kennedy. So tonight we have a recipient that is on the world stage and really honors us by being here. We want to give a special thanks to Mike Flood and Bert Kolb and their teams and Paul's team that have helped working with Rob and his team over the past few months to work out the details to have Paul with us this evening, and it's been an honor to work with them. And again, we just are thrilled that Paul is here to really honor us. So tonight's honoree is a visionary leader. He's changed the world through technology. He continues to serve the world through impactful philanthropy. And I was really noted profoundly that when you read his Twitter biography or profile, the first word is philanthropist, and then his many other accomplishments. He's a servant leader and a proud brother of Phi Kappa Theta. So we have another special treat tonight, and that is that Brother Colby Larson, and we all are now witnesses, future member of Hood Gold Council, thank you. We have it on video on Facebook Live, so. The president of Washington Alpha Delta, Washington State, will introduce this evening's Man of Achievement after this video.
So as you all just heard, my name is Colby Larson. If I haven't had a chance to introduce myself to you yet, I'm the current chapter president at Washington State University, and it truly is my honor to introduce our brother Paul Allen this evening. How often do you get to introduce someone whose work has literally changed the world? As the co-founder and technical visionary of Microsoft, Paul's early understanding of the potential and impact of technology sparked a revolution that continues to touch every aspect of our lives. His insight that technology can change the world, along with his appetite to tackle big problems, have made him an internationally recognized philanthropist, space pioneer and entrepreneur, environmental and global health advocate, and scientific innovator and patron. Not to mention, he absolutely shreds on the guitar if you guys haven't seen. What a special moment for all of us to be able to recognize a Phi Cap brother whose ideas and actions have meant so much to the world. It's incredible to think that he was once a student like us going through these experiences at Phi Kappa Theta. But so many, including myself, wouldn't be enjoying the Phi Cap brotherhood if it wasn't for him, because he spurred the rebirth of our Alpha Delta chapter at WSU. In 1993, he joined together with a group of undergraduates who sought to reestablish the Phi Kappa Theta on WSU campus. Paul led and funded construction of our beautiful chapter house, completed in 1996, giving life to a fraternity that continues to promote brotherhood, leadership, and lifelong friendships just as it did for him. Paul's vision and generosity opened the door for hundreds of us to enjoy the same camaraderie that he treasured from his days at Phi Kappa Theta. His connection to us continues through him bringing our members to a Seahawks game every year and supporting our recruitment program every single summer by having the Phi Kappa Theta Apple Cup at CenturyLink Field. Our appreciation for Paul Allen never diminishes. To this day, his plaque, along with multiple pictures, are displayed in our formal room, recognizing him for all of his devotion to our chapter. They continuously remind our members of each individual's potential for greatness and motivate us to make the most of every moment. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming and congratulating our Alpha Delta brother, Paul Allen.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Colby. And thank you to the fraternity and the foundation leadership for this amazing honor. It's good to be with my Phi Kappa brothers tonight, two longtime friends and business associates who are also brother Phi Kappas are here with me from Seattle. Bert Cold, who works with me on both the Seahawks and the Trailblazers and on my other ventures, and Mike Flood, who works with me for the Seahawks. The three of us met when we were Phi Kappas. Amazingly, it was over 40 years ago, though to us it certainly doesn't seem anywhere near that long. We're still great friends. Bert and Mike are two of my closest advisors, and we still get together with our Phi Kappa brothers at Seahawks games and other events. Both Mike and then Bert were house presidents of the Alpha Delta chapter. Mike and Bert being here tonight is a confirmation of the power of the fraternity idea. Many of you have fraternity brothers with you here or back home who will not only remain your lifelong friends, they may well end up being your business partners and colleagues. For me, those partnerships come out of common interest, shared values, and trust. Your college years are a special time of personal and intellectual growth. I know my own interest in sports and music, including shredding on the guitar, I guess, my sense of humor, and my overall enjoyment of life all grew substantially during my time in the house. Not just because of the things I was exposed to, but much more because of the men that I lived with. In my time at the Alpha Delta chapter at WSU, we had a very eclectic mix of police science majors, hippies, yes, there were hippies back then, computer science fanatics like myself, jocks, city kids, and farmers' sons. Being exposed to all these personalities, and believe me, there were some pretty unusual personalities, helped me learn to get along with people from many different walks of life. We played intramural football, chess, cards, and foosball. I just can't believe I still have a callus from many years of foosball. We socialized together at parties at the house or watched Star Trek and even the occasional soap opera, which is hard to admit, but it's true. We listened to tremendous amounts of loud music, and we slid down the hill in front of our house, that icy hill, and of course, we worked together doing house chores. And I'm sure many of you remember giant piles of dishes in your house kitchen. I certainly do. We also contended with, Pullman, Washington can be really cold in the winter. We contended with the icy trek uphill because we were kind of at the bottom of the hill leading up to the campus and pushing brothers' cars up our frozen driveway to get to the store when things were really cold. Our house was also perched above a railroad switching yard, and after the first few weeks and weeks of hearing trains being slammed together like at 2 or 3 a.m., I can now sleep through almost anything. I was the center on our intramural football team, a slow but somewhat reliable pass catcher, and I loved playing horse at our broken down half-court driveway hoop next to the house. When I really needed to put a letter on someone, I'd pull out my signature shot known as the Matador. I don't know, I had to innovate even in basketball shots, where you stand with your side to the basket and you shoot the ball like that. A triumph of style, if not effectiveness. Maybe I didn't always win with that shot, but no one ever forgot it. I'm happy to report that the house now has a full court basketball court painted with what I believe are the only appropriate colors, Portland Trailblazer colors. It's been great to see so many enjoying the Phi Kappa experience again at Washington State since we rebuilt the house on the original site in 1996. The chapter has been consistent over the years since in terms of their grades, community service, and leadership, which is incredibly satisfying to me. I was very happy to hear of Alpha Delta receiving awards in scholarship and spiritual achievement this morning. It's been gratifying to watch succeeding generations of young men pass through the house, sustaining the momentum, and see them be the richer for the experience there. Let me end by having a few observations and comments, if you'll indulge me, and a few pieces of advice. Our motto, "Give, expecting nothing thereof," comes from the Bible, but has universal application regardless of your beliefs. We're in what I believe to be an era of unprecedented opportunity, but equally a time of enormous challenges that require creativity and commitment to action. I'm encouraged to see so many young scientists, technologists, and entrepreneurs at work to find a way in to solving some of the world's toughest problems, whether that's in new energy, homelessness, species preservation, or ocean health, just to name a few. Each of us will feel called by different causes and opportunities to serve. As Phi Kap's emphasis on this servant leadership reminds us, each one of us has the opportunity to do something that will make a difference. I've had great luck to enjoy some of the most remarkable experiences you can have. Going to the Super Bowl and coming home with a winner is every team owner's dream. But having a chance to get involved in the 2014 Ebola crisis and get aid moving at a time when things seem stuck, that was a profoundly satisfying time for me, particularly when the outbreak was declared over. So I encourage you to be optimistic and persistent. I can tell you from personal experience, the success I've had is without question rooted in not accepting the status quo. You have to think out of the box about what solutions should exist and what change is necessary, and then try to make it happen, often in the face of skepticism and doubt. As a result, I've made big bets in basic cell science and brain research. I'm hopeful that we can learn to respond earlier and better to crises like Ebola, where the victims live a world away. And I'm focused on trying new approaches to addressing homelessness, even if the risk or failure for any of these things remains high. Society needs individuals willing to take risks in the service of big ideas, who will demonstrate the personal generosity and energy necessary to make a difference in where our world is headed. Our commitment to the Phi Kap motto, "Give, expecting nothing thereof," and to our third ideal, our duty to society, shouldn't end on graduation day. Once a Phi Kap, always a Phi Kap. And if your journey is like mine, during your time in the house, you will find your own passions and commitments. In the company of your brothers, that won't only be a challenge, but it will be rewarding and at the same time, tremendous fun. Thank you again for honoring me this evening.
I think I can say this with all humility. There is no fraternity chapter in America who ended their biennial convention like that. It is a real honor. Before I wrap up a couple things, I just want you to know, I know you've all had to be hearing from me all weekend, and I apologize, but as you hear this Paul's story and Paul's passions around what he's tackling in the world, I just want to put a little bit of context and color around that for how it affects one person. Because I'm here today, and I've had a pretty unique opportunity to have some professional and personal successes, in large part because of Paul Allen, long before he ever knew my name. I grew up in a tiny little town with one stoplight. I met some of you guys that did the same thing. I got into college at Washington State University on the third try, and one of the letters had the lovely language that I wasn't university material. I got to college and started working washing dishes. I left there right after I got out of high school, and I got a job working for a cranky old guy that Paul had hired to build the house. And he was a dear friend of theirs, so I just insulted him. But he yelled at me every day and told me if I wanted a job making $12 an hour, which by the way was a lot of money for me, then if I wanted a job there, I had to do anything I was told. Carry garbage, go get people lunch, do anything. And I did it all summer. And it just so happened that I met other guys. There was other guys, actually current brothers, who were working on the house too. And I worked on that house all summer. I started school. I didn't know if I wanted to join that fraternity. I didn't really know anything about fraternities. And everything just kept coming back to Phi Kappa Theta. Everybody I'd meet this interesting person, and they happened to be a Phi Kappa. And the guy who had taught me how to do the carpentry work around the house was a Phi Kappa. And that's how I ultimately wound up at Phi Kappa Theta. I was definitely a punk. I was about this close. Mike had to bail me out several times. And then I had to meet like my dearest friend, Jesse Keene, and we became super close there. And everything I was able to accomplish at Washington State University was because of Phi Kappa Theta. I got elected student body president, and Jesse will make fun of me, but then re-elected. And Jesse became the student body president after me. We implemented a philosophy called infiltrate and dominate. And we went from a little tiny chapter with a half a dozen, 6, 8 guys when they first got started, opened the house, got to 40 guys, went all the way to 110 guys. We became by far the best fraternity on campus because we lived out infiltrate and dominate. And by the way, that wasn't like throwing the best parties, which we did throw some good parties. That was about being good guys who really wanted to make a difference on our campus. We ran IFC, we ran the bookie, we were on the athletic directors council, we were in ASWSU, we ran everything. We had people at the newspaper, and we did all that. We went from nothing, a little tiny group. I met some guys, I can't remember what school it was, maybe Louisiana Lafayette. You were at 8 guys. We went from 8 guys to 110 and crushed the school in like 6 years, all because we worked our tails off. And we had the support of people like Paul. You guys can do this too. You can change your campus. And then you can leverage the people like Paul who are lighting the spark to the fire here to change the world. I know it sounds cheesy, but I mean, this giving nothing, expecting nothing thereof, that is what changes the world. And we need that right now in the world. So I'm just so honored to be a part of this fraternity. And sometimes when I go back to Pullman and I drive by that house, it's emotional. Because you realize the journey you came from where you didn't even know if you could get into college. Lampy was joking earlier today about how excited he was to get into college. It's like, we got into college. That was awesome. That's a lot of real dreams in this fraternity. It's just get into college. And you just heard from one of the most successful fraternity brothers in American history. And we've got guys who like me, who just barely got in. So let's run the delta there. Let's all strive to make that big difference. And keep coming to these events. Plug in. Call Rob and his team. Call your advisor. And make the parties and the hot chicks and the beers, make that second. Make that second to making a real difference. Because that's the opportunity we have here with a really fantastic organization. Thank you again so much to the spouses and guests that came, to our honoree this evening, to the leadership of the fraternity, to all of you who've put in so many years of work and effort for this organization. We've all had our ups and downs, both as individual chapters and as the national chapter. But we're on a high. We're on a high because we're living up to our ideals. We understand we need to make a dent in the world, and we have the support of people like Paul. So it is with that spirit that I say goodbye and tell Orlando, thank you, stay fired up. I'm very proud to be a Phi Kappa.